Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewers, Lo-Fi Lobster 17. Thanks for the suggestion, Lo-Fi Lobster. You asked, why do controller buttons use square, triangle, circle, and X shapes? If you've ever picked up a PlayStation controller and wondered why it looks like a geometry test instead of a keyboard, you're not alone. Those shapes aren't just there to look cool. They actually have meaning behind them. And believe it or not, someone designed them that way on purpose. So if you've ever been confused by why X means yes in one country and no in another, or what the triangle was supposed to represent, stick around. We're diving into the story behind one of gaming's most iconic button layouts, right here on Explaining Everything. First, meet the man responsible, Teiyu Goto. He's a designer at Sony, and back in the mid-90s, he was given the terrifying task of designing a game controller for a brand new console, the PlayStation. Now, keep in mind, this was during the Wild West of controller design. Nintendo had a handlebar setup, Sega was making boomerangs, and nobody knew what ergonomics even meant yet. Goto was determined to do something different. Something intuitive. Something that didn't feel like you were operating a nuclear submarine. Instead of using letters like the SNES, Goto had a revolutionary idea. What if we used shapes? Not just for looks, but for meaning. That's right. Each of those shapes wasn't randomly slapped on during a geometry class nap. They were carefully chosen with a purpose in mind. Let's decode this secret gamer glyph language. First, triangle. Goto imagined this as a symbol for a point of view or direction. Think of it like an arrow or a camera view. Many early PlayStation games used triangle to switch perspective or bring up a map. It was the look around button before we had dual analog sticks to do the looking for us. Second, square. Square was all about menus and data. Like the kind of square you'd press to open up your inventory, check your stats, or throw a grenade. Square meant function, not flashy, but essential, like khakis. Third, circle. Circle symbolized yes or confirm. In Japan, a circle is used like a check mark, basically the polite, geometrically satisfying way of saying you got it. So naturally, it became the go-to button for selecting things. Fourth, X. You can probably guess where this is going. X means no. Not in the X marks the spot way, but in the you just got that answer wrong on a test way. It was meant to cancel, back out, or say no thanks. So yes, in Goto's mind, your thumbs weren't just smashing random shapes. They were interacting with a symbolic control scheme. It was like hieroglyphics, but with combos. Using shapes wasn't just a cute gimmick. It was actually pretty brilliant for global design. Letters can be tricky. Not every language uses the Roman alphabet, and A means yes, B means no. Can flip depending on what country you're in or what controller you're using. It's a chaotic mess. Shapes, though. Shapes are universal. A triangle is a triangle, whether you speak English, Japanese, or Klingon. Even your cat probably understands circle good, X bad. By going geometric, Sony skipped the whole language barrier mess and made the controller more intuitive worldwide. It's like the IKEA of button design. No words, just vibes. Of course, this elegant idea immediately ran into the flaming brick wall of regional preferences. In Japan, circle really was yes, and X was no, just like Goto intended. But in Western countries, people looked at the X and thought, hey, X looks exciting. So developers flipped the meaning. X became the confirm button, and circle was relegated to the backup role. This meant that Japanese players were saying yes with circle, while Americans were slamming X with reckless abandon. The buttons stayed the same, but their meanings got swapped faster than your muscle memory could handle. To this day, it's one of the biggest East-West gaming culture divides, and a guaranteed way to accidentally cancel out of a menu and rage quit a JRPG. So let's recap. Sony ditched letters in favor of a controller that speaks in symbols. Triangle for direction, square for menus, circle for yes, X for no. It was a bold move that made the controller more intuitive, less language-dependent, and weirdly elegant. Even if the West decided to completely ignore Goto's original logic, the shapes stuck around and became legend. Next time you pick up a PlayStation controller and instinctively press X to jump into the action, remember, you're interacting with 90s design philosophy at its finest. A controller that looks simple on the surface, but is secretly full of meaning. Like a pop song with depressing lyrics. If you liked this video, don't forget to press the circle of approval, the triangle of perspective, aka the share button, and subscribe for more shape-shifting stories. And hey, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.